How you doing today, folks? Today I just finished a mulching job I've been working on for the last week and a half, and this is a job I know I've taken you guys to other times, but this is a job that I installed or I started working for these folks around 2002, 2005, and around 2005 or so we installed a patio for these folks, and as time's gone by I've just constantly, we've constantly kept improving the yard. This is a job where I usually come back once in the spring to edge, weed, and mulch, once in the fall to put the gardens to bed, and then there's usually some kind of a job through the season. I was trying to figure out what the lesson I was going to teach in this one or what to focus on, and I really don't have anything to focus on in this video. The only point to this video is I just want to show you folks a job that I'm very proud of. I did all the installation work here and I just finished mulching it. And what I'm going to do is just kind of go through the yard and talk you through what I did, anything I think that might be important, and we'll just see how it goes. I just want to start with the camera back here and take a look. The big tree you're looking at right here, this is a Yoshino cherry. Now when I planted this tree, I'm going to go back to a picture when this landscape was first installed. So it's 2016, so let's say it's been 11 or 12 years since I planted that tree. And I just want you to get a feel for how much things grow in. The more years I do this, the farther I plant things apart and the farther I plant things from the house, because they always grow. Now the purpose of this Yoshino was actually to shade the patio. Before this Yoshino was here, there was like a choke cherry growing, but it wasn't in a good spot, so we took that out, put the Yoshino in, and it's definitely doing its job of shading the patio. But just, keep in mind, things will always grow, and more spacing and farther from the house is always a good thing. Now, as I'm moving over here, I want to mention, if you take a look at the house, the house is an older style house, and it's not your typical colonial. I'm sure there's a style to that, but it's not coming to mind right now. So where we're standing is actually the back of the house. You would park your car in the garage over here, and this is pretty much the way my clients go, up to their house. And I didn't want to put something in that was going to be, didn't fit in with the house. So I went with more of a traditional landscaping in the back, and as the summer progresses, I've got some flowering perennials. But let me show you what I did to keep things more traditional. The first thing is we have these nice granite steps and this granite walkway, and I did install the walkway, the slabs, and the patio as well. There's some steps up to the patio and to the front door I didn't do. This is what's called Pennsylvania bluestone. There's two types of bluestone. There's New York bluestone, which has the browns and the blues mixed in, and Pennsylvania bluestone. If you want the more bluestone, go with the Pennsylvania. And we could have done a straight walkway down, but check out this cool curve. I just love curves. Took a little longer to do, but just check out how cool that walkway is. So you've got, these are Varder Valley boxwood on either side, and then you walk through those and up to the back patio. And take a look at these granite slabs. So all these are is big slabs. I got these at a place called Swenson Granite. You build a base and you stack them up, and they have what's called a cushion edge. If you look at the edge of these stones, normally when you see granite, it's just, they just slice it, but they actually put this cushion edge, which is a little bit rounded, so it gives it a more weathered look. And it's just another detail that makes this patio look like it fits in. And another cool thing is check out these coral bells. The cool thing about these coral bells is I didn't plant them here. The coral bells actually started with just a few plants around these holly over here, and then they self-sowed and the seeds came down. And for a new patio, I think it's just really cool to have these coral bells giving it that lived-in look. And then let me just go back. So the patio, we made sure there was enough room for the table there, and then you've also got room for some chairs on the side, and then the barbecue over here as well. You know, nice generous patio. And you know, it's midday, there's the sun for you, and we've just got beautiful shade. It's just a very quiet spot. As we're sitting here coming up the stairs, I also want to point out that you see how there's a row of arborvitae back there. This is a fairly busy road we're on, but we're at the back of the house. So I did put the arborvitae over there to kind of screen the road and give you a little bit of privacy. Another feature of the patio I want to point out is, and this is something I did, it took a lot of time to do, but it came out really cool. Let me show you the other side. So we've got these boxwoods, so rather than just go with the boring square corner out and around, I actually cut these half circles, you see that? Into the edge of the patio, and we got these boxwood went in about 36 inches tall. They're a pretty good size, but that was yet another thing to kind of soften up the patio, so it's not just this cold, stark patio, you know, just sticking out and being hot and sunny. We got the boxwood that softens it up. We've luckily got the coral bells to soften it up, and this beautiful tree as well that's going to shade it and soften it too. And then another detail about the patio, let me show you over here, is now I did not do these steps, but when the mason was out to redo these steps, I asked him if he could curve, you see that? To curve those steps. And it's a little touch, but it adds so much to bring things together. And you know, the mason's choice of the native stone for the side there, I think that's a really nice touch as well. And then I've got stepping stones coming off the patio over here, so you can get to the yard that way. We've got some stepping stones over on the other side of the patio here, which we had to lengthen. When this job first went in, all in here was grass. But as the tree grew, and then that's a Seven Suns flower, and then there's a weeping cherry, as all these trees grew, it got too shady. So last year we pushed the bed out, and we put in these nice stepping stones to move through the bed. I always, you know, one of my elements of my landscapes is stepping stones to move you through the landscape and encourage people to go through. And over here as well, you know, I probably could have fit like a little 3 or 4 foot swath of grass, but it just didn't seem worth it. So I went with the stepping stones. And then I've got some fairy roses over here, which are going to give us some summer bloom, repeat blooming roses. I've got some Spirea, and I forget the name of this one. It is a very popular cultivar. It's got yellowish foliage, pink flowers. The Spirea is doing great for summer color. Japanese anemone, this here is going to bloom in September. This is called the Tradescantia, which is coming into bloom. We've got some daylilies, and then there's also some fountain grasses. And fountain grasses are one of those things that kind of dates the landscape because they were really peaking in like the late 90s. I've cut back a bit on my ornamental grasses because it takes a lot of effort to cut them back, but they still do add a nice touch to the landscape. And then around the garage, this is a yew. It's a fastigiate yew, and I can't think of the name of it, but these haven't gotten any taller since I planted them, because every time I come out to maintain, whether it's the spring or the fall, I'll just selectively prune a little bit to keep them the height they want to be. If these were pruned with hedge clippers all the time, it would have a totally different look, and the growth would be much denser on the outside, and they'd look over-pruned, for lack of a better term. And that's a really great example where it takes a little longer to prune them selectively, but I've kept these yews at a height that's very manageable, and we've managed to soften the garage as well. And we have a piece of granite coming off the garage to a stepping stone, and then you can either go to the lawn or you can come back to the steps over here. So let's just move you around and give you a feel for things. So over here where things got shady, what I ended up doing was, we put these stepping stones in. Check out this stepping stone path. I really love that curve. Sometimes Sometimes I get lucky and things go well, and I love that curve of that stepping stone path. And I put the stones a little bit high on purpose because I knew we were going to mulch. So while they're sticking out of the mulch a little bit, as time goes by, more and more mulch, we're not going to worry about losing our stepping stones. And then for a ground cover, one of my favorite shade ground covers is vinca. So this is vinca, and I believe it's bowls, which is very slowly going to spread and fill things in. It's got that fine texture to it. It's going to be evergreen through the winter, but it's not going to be as aggressive as Pachysandra and just take over everything. I put just a few Deutzia. This is Deutzia Nico. I put these guys in just for a little spring color, splash of spring color. There's a few mixed in the bed. And then over here, let's just come around. So up until last spring, this is a Seven Suns flower, Heptacodium myconoides. Up until last spring, there would have been just a ring around this, and this would have been mostly dirt with a little bit of grass mixed in. Mountain laurel can be a little bit tricky. I had 3 last year that were like half alive. I just went ahead and took them out and then replaced them with these new ones here, and hopefully they'll take. And then just have a look at the edge over here. You see that nice swooping edge? And then take a look over there. And last year, my clients, there was a big sugar maple in front of this house, which it came down. So my clients had me seed the lawn, and they also put a sprinkler system in, and the lawn looks as good as it ever has. I'm really happy with the way the lawn's looking, and they've got a lawn service coming in to take care of the weeds. And my client just mowed yesterday, and it looks awesome. Really nice. Okay, so now we're moving around to the front. And just keep an eye on the bed lines here. I just love smooth flowing curves. There we go. And you know, so the front of the house is another one where, let me step back for you. I mean, this is a very traditional house. It's an older house. And when I did the landscape here, I didn't want to overplant it. I didn't want to, you know, put it chock full of plants. I just wanted to put stuff in that's going to look nice, but not be overbearing. So this is a good example of where less is actually better. I didn't go crazy with the planting. I've got a shad blow for my anchor tree over here. I don't use them on the corner of houses often, but I thought it was a nice touch in an older home. I've got, notice the groupings here. So you always want to plant in odd groupings. So we've got a grouping of 3 azaleas here, and then we have 1 boxwood, and then we have a grouping of 3. This is a compact Andromeda whose name I can't think of at the moment. But you'll notice I've got 2 different types of groupings of 3s here. So you've got the V with the 1 in the back and the 2 in the front, but you can also get the V with the 1 in the front and the 2 in the back. And if you can do your groupings, whether it's in 3s or 5s, where if it was 5, you would do 1, 2, 3, and then 2 in the front, you're halfway there, keeping your spacing well. Everything you're seeing over here, all these plants, they've been here for probably 8-10 years, and they haven't grown in that much. And again, I've been coming through and pruning selectively. We've got some boxwood over here, and again, see, we've got 3. If I had just 1, it would be okay. If I had 2 or 4, it wouldn't look as good. And you know, we probably could, if we wanted to, sneak some more perennials in there. But you know, it's a big yard. There's a lot of work already, so we try to keep it simple. Okay, and then moving back around, can you see that bed line too? See how nice that flows? So we've got our holly on either side of the front door, grouping of 3 boxwood, and then 3 more Andromeda over there. And then the specimen on the other side, this is a Hinoki cypress. Didn't want to go with something too tall because we have the wires above. So I went with the Hinoki cypress because it's very slow growing, and we're not going to have to dig it out in a few years. And it always amazes me, you know, I'll look at landscapes done by other companies, and not, not people new to the business, but people that are in the business for a while. There was a job I did last year where they planted one of those green giant arborvitae, which is a very fast-growing arborvitae, just underneath the wires. So literally after 3 to 4 years, I had to start cutting this shrub away from the wires. And just, if you've got wires, keep an eye and make sure you know what's going on up there. Okay, so then here, we'll just take another quick look at the bed line. Now over here, this tree on the side of the house, so take a look. We've got this very high house, and I didn't want to have it, feel imposing. So this is a Korean Stewardia, or Japanese Stewardia, Stewardia pseudocamellia. And right now, it's actually late May, early June, and my Stewardia is about to come into bloom. If you take a look here, these are the flowers about to bloom. I've got that tree a good, I'd say that's 5 to 6 feet out from the house, and it's doing a really nice job softening this side, and it's absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous in another week or two. Take a look back there. We've got our air conditioners. We want to leave room so the guy that services them can get to them, but if you come around the other side, these are Steed's Japanese holly. I'm not sure if these are Steed's or Chesapeake, but they're an upright Japanese holly. And this is another one that I alternate between selectively pruning and thinning them out and just shearing them. So even though they've been here for, these have probably been here for 10 to 12 years, they're screening out the air conditioning, they're soft enough, but they're not overbearing. And then in front here, this is Itea. Itea, I'll put the name in the video. I can't think of it's Itea is the common and the scientific, but I can't think of the second part of that name. But the Itea is going to have a really nice red fall color, and then it's going to have flowers in another week or so too. And then down here, the house had they had the hostas down here, but what happened was we had a climbing hydrangea, and this is a climbing hydrangea that is just coming into bloom, Hydrangea anomala petiolaris, and that's just giving us a little something extra down there, a little more interest, and again softening things up. I like the grown-in look without overgrown. That's a nice catchphrase. It's grown in without being overgrown. So this hydrangea is going to climb up the walnut tree here. And I would love, this bed, I love blue hosta. I would love to work some more blues in here. I love the color of this blue hosta right over here. And I also like the kind of, deeper green, bluish color with the red edge. I'd love to work some more hosta and just make this like a swath of hosta. And then you've got the white bleeding heart back there. That's not me. That was there. But you got the white there. White Flower Farm has a garden they call the White Garden, where all they do is plant white flowers. And maybe that'd be cool, is to do some blue hosta in here, and then maybe add some white flowering plants, for interest through the season. When we were doing the job, any extra plants we had, we just built a little shrub border along the edge of the property here. There's already a hemlock hedge, so I just came out a bit and built a nice shrub border for a little bit of screening. Okay, and then moving back around, so we're coming back to the patio, and you see if you were walking through the yard, you could just climb over these 3 steps to get in the house, or you've got the Spirea, and you could go this way if you wanted to go to the garage. And then we've got a few perennials down here as well. There's some phlox that's going to be coming up later. These are some coral bells. They're not the colored ones. And then that is some black-eyed Susan. And then there's also some purple coneflower over here as well that's going to be coming up. But that's the view from this side. And it just, for 10 to 12 years of being installed, it's just got such a grown-in look. Grown in, but not overgrown. I really like that. And then let me just show you on the French doors over there, you know, so there's another detail where you've got these two. These are called Dragon Lady Holly. And, you know, I needed something narrow that was going to fill in there because I didn't want to feel like you got this giant house on top of you. So when we put those in, they were probably 4 to 5 feet tall. And I've had to, again, selectively prune to keep them under control, but they're not overgrown and they're doing a great job of softening things up. Really like that look, you know. And then sometimes you get lucky and look at this little guy. They got the little pansy self-sewed all by itself there and filling that space in. Okay, and then here we go. We'll go back down the stairway. So I hope you enjoyed that video, folks. It was just, I really enjoy this yard very much. It's a very common place for me. So I hope you enjoyed the tour. Maybe you picked up a few ideas, or you know, maybe you just got bored out of your mind. But we'll probably call this video something like Garden Ramblings. But thank you very much for watching if you made it through, and if you didn't make it through, I hope you enjoyed whatever you did watch, and we will see you soon. Take care, folks.